volume of cones. All right, so we've done volume of cylinder. We're going to look at a volume of a cone. So a cone, so if you think about one of those little emergency cones that's on the highway, or ice cream cone, we're talking about a cone. So volume of a cone is 1/3 the product of the area of the base. Base we talked about with our cylinders, so in this case a cone has a circle for a base, and the height of the cone. So again, the base and the height are always perpendicular, so you're going to see in a cone, you're going to see that little right angle symbol there, relating the height to the base. So our formula is volume is 1/3 base times height. On that MCAS reference sheet, again, since the base is a circle, you're going to see pi r squared in there. So for what we'll work with volume equals 1/3 pi r squared times the height. But if you see it's base times height, know that since the base is a circle here, the area of our base is 1 pi r squared. So let's work through a few problems. So find the volume of the cone, round your answer to the nearest tenth. So we've got our cone over here, we've got a height of 6 meters, and we've got a diameter of 4 meters. So since the base is a circle, pay attention to whether you're looking at a diameter or a radius, which one they gave you. So FSSU. So here's my formula. Volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. I'm going to substitute in there. Since my diameter is 4, I'm going to use a radius of 2, since the radius is half of the base, and then our height of 6. So volume equals 1/3 pi 2 squared times 6. Again, hang on to the pi symbol until you really have to use a number in there. Volume equals 1/3 pi. I'm going to square that 2, and I get 4 times 6. Then I multiplied the 4 times the 6 and got 24. Then again, I'm trying to avoid the pi symbol until the very end. I did 1/3 times 24, which was just a good old 8. And now from here I can throw in the 3.14 for pi. I kind of avoided using that decimal until now, but I end up with V equals 25.1. So I've got a volume of 25.1 meters cubed. Again, volume is always a cubic unit. Okay, so our measurements here are linear, so these are just meters. However, our measurement for the volume is cubic. All right, let's try some where we are given the volume and we have to find a missing dimension. So find the missing measure, round your answer to the nearest tenth. So here I have a diagram. It's missing the height. We've got, again, a diameter of 9. So again, we've given a diameter, so we'll have to convert to the radius. So the diameter is 9, which means the radius is 4.5. And they gave us the volume of 956 feet cubed. So FSSU, here's my formula. I'm going to substitute in my volume where the V is. I'm going to substitute in my radius as 4.5. I'm looking for the height, so that still stays my variable. So I'm going to do as much math as I can until I can have to deal with that pi symbol. So here I did 4.5 squared, which was 20.25. I did 1/3 times 22.5, which is approximately 6.75. I use that in here. Next, I'm trying to get the h by itself, so I divided both sides by 6.75 pi, which cancels these two out here. And I'm left with my height being represented by this fraction. So at this point, I did 6.75 times pi, and I come up with about 21.195. Then I divided, and I get 45.1 for my height. So I have a height of 41.5 feet. Again, this is height, so it's a linear measurement. It's not cubed, it's just linear feet when we get our final answer. All right, one more, a word problem with no picture here. A cylinder has a height of 10 centimeters and a volume of 471 cubic centimeters. Find the diameter of the circle. Again, of the cylinder. Notice we're looking for the diameter, so we want to pay attention to our formula has radius in it, but we want diameter by the time we're done. So FSSU, here's my formula. I'm going to plug in my volume, and I'm going to plug in my height. And then I'm going to see what math I can do over here. So I did the 1/3 times 10 and got about 3.3. I'm trying to get the radius by itself, so I divided both sides by 3.3 pi, which again, these two cancel out and leave me with this value here for the radius squared. So I grabbed my calculator, I did 3.3 times pi and got 10.362. Then I divided 471 by 10.362 and I got 45.45. but that's equal to r squared. It's not equal to r. So we've talked about the opposite of squaring something is a square root. So I'm square rooting both sides here, and I get about 6.7. So again, 6.7 is the radius. They asked me for the diameter. So I know that the radius is half of the diameter. So if the radius is 6.7, the diameter is twice that, which is 13.4. So 13.4, again, we're talking diameter. That's linear. So it's just centimeters at the end of that, not cubed. So working with that FSSU, pay attention to what information they gave you. Use a formula that works with what they gave you. And then make sure your final answer answers the question, which in this case was not the radius, it's the diameter.